What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, DwK Videos, where we go ahead and make military content for your viewing. If you want, my social media links will be in the description down below. Please go subscribe. Before we jump straight into it, if you could please consider subscribing. I think the demographic of like 87% of my views are from people who are not subscribed. So if you could take the millisecond, hit that little red subscribe button. It'll cure my dog of cancer. You don't want him to die, do you? Top 5 tips and tricks for Navy Boot Camp 2020. Now, I know people on YouTube have done this in the past. However, have you ever got information from a guy who used to work at boot camp? All these other YouTubers just went to boot camp. I worked there for years. I was a literal corpsman at Tranquility, Fisher Clinic, VA Hospital, and Red Rover. I rotated literally all around. I did it all. If you went to boot camp through 2015 to 2017, you probably seen me. I probably gave you a PPD shot. And if you had an STD, I probably counseled you on it. Shame. Tip number 1 would be to learn your stuff beforehand. Now, I have a literal video going step by step in the DEP Start Guide book. You should have got this when you DEP'd in for your DEP advancement test. This is the test you take at the very beginning of boot camp that will let you advance to an E2 right off the bat. So no one should be an E1 in the Navy. Know your stuff beforehand. It's really just rank recognition, your orders, and terminology. Terminology should be the easiest one because you can literally make a Quizlet and learn them all, and I mean all of them, within the course of probably an hour. This will let you ease through boot camp because one of the biggest difficulties you're gonna have when you first get there is rank recognition. You're gonna be calling someone a petty officer when they're a chief. You're gonna be calling a chief a petty chief. You're gonna be calling officers chiefs, and you're just gonna be all sorts of lost. This is vital to you just smooth sailing your first couple weeks, or at least not standing out to where you're getting beat. Tip number 2 is to eat super healthy. I think the leanest I've been was when I was in boot camp because they control everything you do and you eat. Now, although it's controlled substance, you can obviously pick the unhealthier things to get during the chow line. So it's still, everything's overall healthy, but you can pick the healthiest option by yourself. Every now and then, they're gonna come by with ice cream as a morale booster to make you feel good, but as long as you're not like a depressed pony or something, you can skip that. Eat at a caloric deficit, work out more, put more effort into the boot camp workouts if they're easier for you, and come out of that thing shredded. And I mean shredded. Tip number 3, this is more of a tip for after boot camp. However, it's important to coordinate this with your parents, lovers, whoever you're living with right now for after boot camp. Bring your phone and electronics to graduation because your parents, your drill instructors, Daddy, your drill instructors are pretty much gonna let you have electronics after graduation, even though you're not gonna ship to your place till the day after. So if your A school is in Great Lakes, which a lot of boat rates, if you're going to a boat rate, it's probably in Great Lakes. You're just gonna walk across the street to literally like right down the street. It's just a curved road is the A school base. Next to Great Lakes, you have in-processing base. There's like 5 bases. In-processing base, the actual boot camp. Down the road this way is a MEP station plus the 3rd Mall Reserve plus the VA Hospital. And then down this way is the training base, which is all the A schoolers, Fisher Clinic, etc. Bring your phone so you don't have to ship it over mail or like try to get an electronic. It is so much easier to just have them bring it with them to graduation. This is gonna make A school a lot easier if you have your laptop already, unless some of you love to write in a notebook, which by all means you can. I still wrote, you know, everyone has to write pretty much in notes during class. They're probably not gonna let you bring a laptop into the classroom unless you have a cool instructor. But when you're at home, one of my favorite ways to learn is with Quizlet. I use Quizlet for like everything in Corpsman A school. Blue Jacketeer came in later on for advancement, so I don't really use Quizlet for advancement. But you guys get the key of I'm using electronics to aid me, their study aids, to make studying more proficient so that I can obtain more knowledge faster. Sure, if you wanna write repetition like terminology over and over and over again on a page till you get it, by all means, but I'm not doing that. And if you don't have a laptop already or an iPad or some sort of electronic, luckily for you, the MCX on like pretty much every base is gonna give you a killer deal because we do not tax in the military. Like we don't tax, majority of the state taxes don't include it. And on base, gasoline, food, miscellaneous spending, you're pretty much gonna save tons of money just because you don't have to pay a sales tax. 4th tip, and this one kind of hits home for me, get a bottom rack. I had a top rack for like half of boot camp and I would get crazy nosebleeds. I have horrible allergies. I don't know if it has a ton to do with it, but I would get crazy nosebleeds whenever I was a top rack. And as soon as I switched to bottom rack, I was fine. Not to mention jumping down every morning was so inconvenient. There's not in Navy boot camp, there's not like a ladder. You don't climb up a ladder. You climb up their metal railing headboard and then like pull yourself up onto the top rack. So imagine you just been beat or you just got a bunch of shots and then you hear like 4 in the morning, get up, get up, get up. And you just fall. More than once, I've just busted my ass trying to get out of my rack. Having a bottom rack is so much more convenient. My 5th and final tip, this is important for staying under the radar. Now, I know I've said this in past videos. If you don't wanna be messed with and just get through boot camp fast, put your head down and stay under the radar. Stay under the radar until at least tabs. Like if you wanna socialize, by all means socialize. I've made some of the best friends of my life in boot camp. I'm continuing to be friends with them now, 6 years later. Boot camp can be really fun. Now, obviously, the daily events of boot camp aren't gonna be the funnest, but it's fun that you're building these connections with the people around you. Embrace the suck, as people would say it. And then later on tabs, you can mess around with your boys. We used to have like wrestling matches in the middle of our compartment. We once like taped this guy to his rack like 1,000 times over. And one time, the racks kind of move on like wheels. This one guy we wheeled out into the middle of the compartment while he was sleeping. All good times. Be sure to undo whatever messery you did before the drill instructors get there in the morning. But honestly, you can make some really good friends. As long as you're not messing up during the day, you're gonna have ample time at night to just mess around with your buddies. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Quick little tips and tricks. Hopefully you can take something out of it. I'll be pumping out videos like this on every other whenever I feel like it. I don't wanna promise daily. I'll see you guys in the next one.